Hello, hello. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Happy Saturday night or Sunday, almost lunchtime-ish.
Yeah. I think our daylight savings is next week, maybe?
It's in
Maybe not.
November.
Could be lying.
I think it's in 2 weeks. It's mid-November. Daylight savings 2025.
All I know is we're an extra hour apart right now.
November
Yes.
2nd. So you are correct. It is
Oh,
next week.
nailed it.
Yeah, next week it'll be. I'll actually know where we are in terms of time difference because it will be 8 p.m. AST and it will be 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard.
Well, I was like, I think you're 15 hours ahead right now, but what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Look, I'm just happy we're falling back an hour, which means we're gaining an hour because I have to work that Saturday, which means I have to drive across my very big city at 6 in the morning to get there by 7 in the morning.
That won't have happened yet, though. Daylight savings.
I know, but I can recover the next day is what I mean. I'll have an extra hour for sleeping.
100%.
Yeah. No, we had our time change. We lost the hour. That was the weekend of Rare. So that was fun because that was literally the day after. I'm like, and then I went back to work the next day. Nope. But yes, it'll be nice because that'll be back on. This time of year is so much easier in terms of scheduling things because it's in the morning. Because most of the rest of the year it's in the middle of the day, which is my little neurospicy brain. I can't get anything done beforehand if it's in the middle of the day.
I feel that so hard.
Yeah. So hello to everyone who is here.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just telling you since I wasn't here at the last one.
Yeah, welcome back to Megan. I was just saying I was really frustrated because I was really good. I reread the book, but I read the audiobook because not the audiobook, the ebook because my brain was not. And sorry, they are the sirens. We've got thunder and sirens, and I will go close the window in a minute. This is the problem. I live between a police station and a hospital.
There's always something.
There's always something. Yeah, I was reading the ebook and I was annotating the ebook, and then I lost all of the notes on the ebook when I had to log out and log back into my device. So I'm
tragic.
Yeah.
Anyway. I didn't bother making any notes, so
I never bother making any notes.
Look, I'm amazed I wrote a very brief review on Instagram, so that's what I'm going to be relying on.
I feel like I try to make notes if I'm the one running the live, but also it depends on if there's like something that I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this and I don't want to forget to talk about this, which isn't most of the time.
Like the things that I want to talk like I know those things because I was rereading it going, oh, I really like this about this particular book in the series. And then last night I had a thought about just Nalini Singh and how she's written The Guild Hunter and also The Side Changeling. There is one particular thing she's done in both that I didn't make the connection with until last night. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting connection. And it's just a minor plot point that hasn't really come into play yet, but will. I'm like, oh, she did that twice.
Yeah, nice.
All right.
Megan, this is a reread for you?
This one is a reread for me. I read the first 3 and then none after that. So the vast majority of the series will be new, but yeah. And I also audiobooked it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I also forget, like, if I'm reading, if I don't make the notes literally as I'm either tabbing it or whatever, like I don't stop.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of faith in my brain, and my brain has let me down a lot, but I still have a lot of faith in my brain.
That's okay. We'll make it through. It's all good.
Ever optimistic.
Yeah.
Ever optimistic. All right. So it's the second book in the series, and the whole thing is going to be spoilery because the whole premise of the book is around the major spoiler at the end of the first book. So if you're watching now and you haven't read the book, come back after you've read the book if you don't want to be spoiled. I'm someone who doesn't care about being spoiled, so that's never me. I just stick around and watch everything.
I forget.
Me too.
I've definitely had people spoil a book, and then I read the book like months later, and I'm like, "Oh my god, did y'all believe that ending?" And they're like, "Yeah." Heather's probably done that to me a few times.
Oh, probably.
Oh, I'm glad. See, we're all in good company here. All right. So at the end, oh, there are my tabs. I was wondering where they went. They're inside the book. Sorry. It's going to be one of those days, guys. I really apologize for that.
We don't care.
It's fine.
I meant everyone else. I know you guys don't care. You're used to it.
If they care, they can leave. I say not on my channel.
They should know. We've been doing book clubs for like 5 years.
Steph doesn't need your views. Go away.
But we would love your participation.
All right, we should really get on track here.
This is going to be great.
Again, we're very on brand at the moment. All right, so this book, like the first book, is Elena being, well, I mean, she knows about the world, but really being inducted into the world of the angels. And given that she was nearly killed and has been basically reborn as an angel, this book is all about her relearning to basically be who she is, but an angel, and testing new strengths, but also not being able to apply some of her usual skills because she's still, her body's physically changed. Plus the little political archangel plotline that's going on with lots of little fights and skirmishes, and then the Luan plotline as well, which for me, that is always like coming back to. I'm like, that happens so early in this book, in this series. I was expecting it to take a couple more books to really kick in. I completely forgot about that.
I really liked that in book one, you know, she's really familiar with the paranormal world and is already a part of it. And then here in book two, she is opening up like a part of the world that she didn't even know she didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that like, I mean, you would assume that they would have secrets, but the fact that they're in the refuge, which is their biggest secret of secrets, really. It's the one thing that they don't reveal to the rest of the world in any capacity. And it's a good place to also introduce Elena to so many of the other characters that become major side characters through the series, because this is the one place where it's supposed to be neutral territory for everyone.
Well, some of them become like major couple characters within the series, right? Because it flips between the main two couple and then like all the different couples that end up happening.
Yeah. And she spent we met a number of the 7 in the first book, but I think we spend more time with specific members in this particular book. Like Dimitri was a bigger part of book 1, whereas he was still in it, but
not really there in book 2.
He wasn't, but you had Venom and you had more of Ilium, which I think is important because Ilium and Elena's relationship, I think, is really important through the whole series.
I love their relationship.
He's my favorite side character right now.
Same. He's great.
He's my favorite side character through the whole thing.
Okay.
He flirts so much, but you can see how it's going to shift into that sibling relationship.
Yeah.
Because they really do have a sibling relationship moving forward.
It doesn't feel like authentic flirting.
Like, I mean, it feels like
he's
flirting because he's like interested in humans, and she is like a human that is available rather than flirting because he's like, I want to take you away from
no.
Do that.
I feel like it's the same type of flirting you do with old ladies, and
he's charming. He's charming.
Yeah.
Who he is.
And of all the angels that I think we meet, he's also the most human. Like, he's the one that's most interested in humanity. He's the one that's most interested in remaining connected to that part of life because he was in love with a human.
It feels like he's more connected to his emotions than most of them are.
Yeah. Is also good because when you hit his storyline and his romance later on, like that's important because his emotional stability and his sort of connection to that is really important.
Yeah.
Is the one with the face tattoos the same as the one that totally has a thing for the librarian?
Jason?
Jason? Is that the same? Is
Was
that the same person?
the one who was grumpy with Elena in this book?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. Like, I was like, all I know is I'm just like, I was seeing it's like, oh, even Elena was like, oh, you and the librarian.
Yeah.
Jason is the face tattoo. Okay, cool. That's what I was like, that's the same person. I'm not thinking of two different people. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, we learn more about their way of doing things, which I think is important. I'm just trying to catch up on here. Yeah, I think this, like the idea, you don't have to explore the world. The world is already, it exists, and these characters live in it, and we unpack it as we go along. I think that makes it easier to jump into it.
Yeah, though I think I thought that the storyline with the eldest archangel, I thought that one I think was in book 3 in my head, and so then when it was in this one, I was like, wait, am I mixing these up? Because I'd only read the first 3.
Yeah, hang on, I have to look it up because now I'm confusing Jason and Galen.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is my first read of it, so
yeah.
But I don't feel super connected to the characters though. That's why I'd say it's like a 4 instead of a 5 because I'm liking it, but I'm not like these are my people. I'm really super invested in them.
I feel like even though this book is an Elena and Raphael book, I feel like you're almost spread thin a little bit on terms of interacting with different characters because you are trying to build that up. But
yeah,
I think that's sometimes what happens with an urban fantasy series. And even though this has vampires and things like that, it feels more urban fantasy than paranormal romance.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, okay, so is Jason the spy, and then Galen is like the warlord trainer one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so then Galen is the one with the librarian. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, people in chat. I'm like reading through and I'm like, oh, that's right. That's right.
I don't think there's any.
Yes.
I don't think that's happened yet. So I don't know.
This is the problem. Jumping from the last book to the first books, I've completely mixed up everyone.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like in book 1 and book 2 both, there was a lot of this person is important to us. You should feel like they're important to you too. You know, without like really having a reason to like them or care about them.
Yeah, that's fair
enough. That builds.
I mean, the main like villain in the end, they mentioned her once, and then she basically immediately attacked, failed, died, and I was like, well,
that was wild. I was like, this confrontation went so smoothly.
That was very strange. I was like, oh, okay, oh well, there's our main villain, I guess, quote unquote.
I was like, oh, we just won right away. Wow, that's cool.
I mean, look, at least it wasn't drawn out and we weren't there for pages and pages and chapters of dealing with. Well, it's like having all of those evil villain scenes. Although wasn't there a thing in here that was around let me just talk about and reveal my plan or something like that. It was a play on that.
Yeah.
Or unless I'm thinking of another book. But I kind of laughed out loud because I'm like, let me just have a little speech about all of my plans. Yeah, it was the daughter of one of the
daughter of the poison one. So the one that Venom originally came from, that Archangel's daughter.
Neha.
Yeah.
She was like, you should have just died.
I really did need to start with a character list. I think that's a character cheat sheet because all of the archangels that we start with, they switch out very quickly.
I can see that happening. Yeah,
I've forgotten how quickly they come and they go because there's a lot of movement in terms of the cadre, and I remember that they all switch, like there's changes and things like that. I'm like, we're book 2. How have we had basically 2 of them out? And
Right.
One on the way out.
Isn't it supposed to have been that there's been, like, no change in, like, hundreds of years?
Yeah.
Things are happening
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. But you know what? Maybe they need the change. Maybe they need things to start moving just at a slightly quicker pace.
Right.
We need to update with the times. But yes, the other relationship, or the other relationship that was shown on the page that I quite liked was Elena and Venom.
Mhm.
Just the way that they interacted as well, because I forgot how. To be honest, I thought it was hilarious. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I love this banter. This is great.
They were very confrontational
Yeah,
with each other.
but on the same level and not treating each other as if there was, even though there is a power differential, they weren't treating each other like there was one.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, bring it on.
And I really liked all the training stuff with all the different 7 and everything.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of into that, so.
Well, I also like that even just the learning aspect that she had. I mean, I thought it was hilarious that she got sent to the school with the kids, but then chose to stay with some of the
Yeah.
classes with the kids, and like saw the advantage in being there with them, and and also her connection to the younger angels, because that's also something that is
Mhm.
important moving forward.
Yeah. I liked that too.
Yeah, he's really fun. I like him as a character.
My dog just banged his head into the back door because he didn't see it.
Is he sleepy? Tired?
Lovely side.
He's just really clumsy all the time.
Yeah.
It's the big dog, which makes it funnier.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the connection. Jessamy as a character, I really quite like, because I like that she's a huge contrast to a lot of the big personalities.
Mhm.
I really like that they had to keep telling the kids and Elena to lift your wings because they're dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like the angel version of slouching.
Mhm. And it feels realistic, even though we don't have wings and don't know anybody with wings. It just seems like a thing that would happen.
Yep. At this stage, probably not, just because there's a lot of short stories. We can come back and discuss at another point. I have read them though. I've read the
To
short
be
stories.
honest, I'm not that committed.
Yeah, Heather won't read them. I might go back and reread them at some point, but I probably not anytime soon.
Obviously, anybody can read them however placement, but I don't have any plans on reading them at all.
But look, there are some relationships that come in those stories that are mentioned in the book but are not talked about how they come about. So I'll go back through it and see if there's anything that we want to include that's relevant. What was that? There was something else I was going to say. I can't remember. Oh, Michaela was just continuing to be Michaela.
Is it like an implication that she was infected by her husband who died, or spouse, or whatever they're called, partner?
Yeah, pretty much.
The stuff with her hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be, and I think it's because everyone around Elena, right? Is not on her side or is not discounting anything. They're all like, well, yeah, she's, a snake.
Yeah.
So it hasn't bothered me.
And you can tell that like something's going on. She's at the current stage unstable in some way that we don't know, and that she's very powerful, and that is a very dangerous combination.
Right.
And the fact that she couldn't check it when going into the hospital around the kids as well.
Her main guard is also terrifying. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I feel like that reminds me of another book series or another something I can't figure out, but just kind of the underlings taking on kind of the personality traits or the cruelty of their direct sires and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the, I think that pops up in a lot of books. I think it's really interesting when it does.
Mhm.
Particularly because if you're spending that much time with them as well, and most of the guards have been, or all their sort of their closest advisors have been around them for hundreds or thousands of years.
Right. And we already know from the entire purpose of the guild hunters and everything that they're often very cruel with their underlings, and also you can't just move around at will um, as a vampire or as a young angel, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of time spent kind of conditioning you to what they want. And you have to assume if you stick around for long enough, it's also at their whim.
Yeah.
So if you're not a good fit, you're probably not there at that point.
I feel like the balance of, like, immortality and humanity, like, if you're an immortal and you lose touch with, like, empathy and humanity, you basically become like a monster and go insane.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And it does come up again in later books. And I think one thing that's is being set up is that Elena is a good investigator. That's her job. That's what she's been trained to do. And also like the exploration of, or sort of the redefinition of her abilities, which she always thought was just to hunt vampires, but is actually can be expanded to angels, because angels are so deeply connected to vampires. But it just involves sort of readjusting her perception of what she's doing when she's using her abilities.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that get explored later on.
Yeah.
We get there. We get there eventually.
And it's kind of illustrated in both of the books so far how when you reach a certain level of power and authority and you have your, like, their number one rule is basically you don't mess in each other's territories and all of that. So I feel like there's very few lines that you cross that they feel the need to intercede. And funnily enough, we've had 2 archangels back to back in books 1 and 2. But generally speaking, it's like you can do whatever you want if you're at that level.
But and even through this book, with Elena and Raphael, he's still exerting his influence over, or trying to exert his influence over her, and that they have to have discussions around the fact that there's a huge power differential between them at the moment. He is not going to be able to back down on some things. She's going to have to actually adjust to that, while he also has to adjust to the fact that she will push back on a number of things as well.
Right.
And I think they continue to have that conversation quite a bit through the series, which I like, because it
makes sense.
Even as fated mates doesn't mean you're equal at the start, especially not when someone is thousands of years old.
I also think that it's doing a good job of, I don't know, not pretending like there's no difference between them, because obviously there is. And like, even his personality, I feel like even if they didn't have a big power differential, his personality is such he would want to be in charge. He would want, her just to stay safe wherever he said, etc. And I think that those are the things that they're really working on. And again, they are not ignoring the power difference. But I think that a lot of times you do have, like, a 21-year-old and a 600-year-old, and one super all-powerful, and one is just discovering that they're special, and it's like, okay, but I love you, and it's like, okay, but that doesn't make you equals. It doesn't make you equals in your eyes. It doesn't make you equals in everyone else's eyes. Like, it's silly to pretend like that's not an issue.
Yeah. Yes. Well, there's that. And she's very capable and competent. She's an adult. She's making her choices, and I think that's what makes them interesting.
Well, and I also think that you have kind of that little bit of a catch-22 with the independent heroine character type or archetype, where it's like part of what he loves about her is the fact that she doesn't fall down on his feet like everyone else, and she's feisty and everything like that. Feisty. But then you have to have a give and take where she has to be clear on, this is a no-go boundary for me. This is not something that I'm going to get over in 3 weeks. Like, I'm going to be mad at you and then I'm going to go over it. That's not what this is over here. And also, there has to be some things that you just listen about. You can't be fighting every little thing and then also saying, okay, but when I fight you on this thing, this time I actually really mean it, and this is going to ruin our relationship, like, there has to be, I don't know, there has to be some sort of balance there.
Yeah.
Which I think that there is to a certain extent in this book, but
was it this book or the last book that they explained why some people can be vampires and some can't?
Last book.
Was
the last book? Okay.
Which you can like, if you want.
Well, no, I just couldn't remember because I remember it was because Elena is now immortal, but her sister can never be, and so I think they had talked about that a little bit, about like the fact that her immortality means that she has to watch all of her friends and family die, essentially.
Yeah, they talked about it again in this one for sure.
Yeah, I do think their communication is probably one of the strong suits of a relationship in an urban fantasy or paranormal romance that I've read recently.
I love good communication. So good.
Can we please have some more of it?
Right? It's like, oh my God, they're talking it out. Oh, yes.
Hell, I don't even mind if they yell at each other and talk about it, as long as you talk about it.
Yelling is still talking. Fighting is still talking.
Yeah. And like, I mean, on those same lines, all their conversations around the fact that, even though she has her wings, even though she is now immortal, she's still vulnerable because it's so early for her, and that the things that she needs to eventually she will eventually be capable of doing, she almost needs to put them on, particularly in the second half of the book. Like, you have to make the accommodations, but you also have to project that you know where you're going to end up, because she's being tested as his partner from now on, because she's so unique and so different, being the first made angel in a long time.
And I like when it's that type of thing where it's like, you can't exceptional your way out of the amount of time it takes, I like when it's like clear that it takes years to become skilled in this. It takes years to develop physically. It takes years, because again, so often, like, we have kind of our main characters skipping the line on that. They're a week into paranormal existence. They're the most powerful you've ever seen. But there's a lot of things where it's clear she will be an exceptional angel, just like she was an exceptional hunter, right? And she still has both and all of that stuff. But it's like, but literally, it's been a minute. You have to develop through time. And that's one of the really nice things, I think, about having a long book series like this, is that, because I don't know, a time jump doesn't do it the way that watching it progress does.
No.
Be like 5 years later, we're a whole lot stronger.
Yeah. And I mean, the book does do time jumps, but I think they later on. But I think they do them. I mean, this one had a 1-year time jump between the end of book 1 and the time jump happened sort of in the last part of the last book,
right?
But I think it occurs in increments that make sense for the story in terms of things developing. And it's not like Elena suddenly becomes super confident in what she's doing just because it's been 5 years or 10 years or whatever the time jump is.
Well, and it's like in book 1, you really saw the difference between an archangel and a non-angel, and now you're seeing the difference between all the angels and a brand new angel, even again an exceptional one. And so it already is clear that she's exploring that.
Yeah. And I think probably what this book did really well, considering that she is still learning at this pace and she is going to be in that learning stage for quite a period of time, is that the investigation that she's engaging in is her using her abilities pre-change, which highlights that she is still like she brings something to the table that's different and unique to the archangels, and she can do something that they can't necessarily do themselves, which I think makes a huge difference.
I like that like her inborn power of like being able to smell vampires then is like evolving because she evolved, so it's now like she can also start smelling angels.
Yeah, and she always has backup. And like it was that funny scene where one of the 7 finds out that she knows Deacon, and they're like, "You know Deacon? That Deacon?" We're like, "Yeah, he's my best. He's my best friend's partner." And he's like, "I would kill to know Deacon. How can I get to know Deacon?"
Right.
That's a running thing through the first few books at least. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, she does, but
I feel like that's really common when you are in the paranormal world, or even like, any power structure in a romance book where you are suddenly the partner of the head of the power structure. Yeah, all those bodyguards and nannies following you around all the time.
You do. And I like that we sort of we get to understand what happened. I mean, through the flashbacks, what happened to Elena's mother and her siblings, and
that really creeped me out so much.
Yeah,
it was weird because you're obviously watching very graphic murders. And it's her family, so obviously that's, like, unsettling, but the part that, like, really got to me was, like, the weird, creepy stuff that he was doing, like, SAing these, like, underage children as he's killing them, or having her watch him kill her sisters. I was like, "Why is this more disturbing than the fact that you're literally killing them in front of us?"
Yeah.
Like, it was really gross.
And I mean, in part, I think that just highlights just how depraved and separate from humanity that these like we can have these characters be. And I think it also highlights, particularly at the end of the book, when Luan brings that character back, like her separation from reality as well.
Well, when he came back, I was like, "Oh, this is part of why we've had so many flashbacks about this."
Yeah. I think like she gets, like Elena gets it. She knows why. She doesn't necessarily have to like it, but she understands it. And she's also she's not stupid. She's not a character that necessarily goes off into situations where she's almost certainly going to be killed all the time. Like she has a strong moral sort of core where she'll make a decision based on what she thinks is the right decision, but she's not going to walk into something for the sake of it. But yeah.
I do like that the scene where she gives the boy Sam, I think his name is, in the hospital the knife. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a sweet moment.
Yeah. Sam does reoccur in the books.
Oh, good. I love him.
when,
He's so sweet.
Raphael gave her the knife and was like, why did, what's his face? Ilium? Something like that?
Gilliam.
Yeah.
Why is he trying to give you knives? And why are you trying to get your favorite killed? I don't understand.
Like, that's the part of Ilium and Elena's relationship that cracks me up, is it's just that he does push people's buttons to see the kind of reaction that he's going to get.
Mhm.
And he does it because he knows that Elena doesn't understand necessarily yet that dynamic, but also he wants to be her friend, and he likes pushing Raphael's buttons.
Mhm.
He's the baby of the group.
Right.
He is. Definitely.
He feels fun.
He is. I love it.
There's lots of little fun things, I think, in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the raising of the dead vampires, which is
terrifying. Did not like.
No.
Yeah. I also found it really interesting that when they defeated her and she like came back and talked, she's just like, I don't know, not bothered by it at all because of, I don't know, her state of existence. It's just so interesting.
Yeah.
I also love that Raphael has a new power too that he's like unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's also frustrated because he's like, I'm an immortal and I can't control this power.
Yeah.
It's so weak.
Well, in the same way that Elena's having to can't learn everything straight away. Like that's going to be his thing that he has to wrap his head around. So just because you are thousands of years old doesn't mean you automatically learn a new ability straight away.
I also really liked the stages of learning how to fly because it seemed very realistic of like, yeah, you have to work your muscles to like learn how to do this skill, and then you like can start practicing the skill.
Yeah. Didn't he push her off a cliff?
He did. He was like, baby bird time. Boom. I did like that scene. But it's just nice for a change where usually it's like this person suddenly has a power. They're an expert with it. So it's like she suddenly has wings. She has to be reminded not to drag them on the ground. Her like back muscles are killing her because she's not used to working them.
Yeah. She can barely pull herself out of a drop from a height because she doesn't know how yet. She doesn't
know how to land. She literally is like, I can't land. Someone needs to help me because there's not enough runway for this.
Yeah. And then we're going to take the plane part of the way and then fly part of the way because you can't do the whole fly yet.
Yep. So you got to build that endurance. It was very, very realistic for the fact that having wings is not realistic. I'm like, I like this.
Yeah.
Because even they were like, you can't learn to fly in the like 9-10 months we have before this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, thank you for understanding that it takes more than like 2 weeks to master something.
Oh gosh. So Megan, you might recognize this connection with Side Changing. So this was the connection that I made. So in Side Changeling, in the first book, Enslaved to Sensation, there is a major side character who kidnaps a whole bunch of women, tortures, kills them, and there is a survivor, and that survivor is Brenna, who becomes a main character in book 3.
Yeah.
So in the first book, so in Archangel's Kiss, you have a major archangel who is kidnapping, torturing, and brutally murdering women.
Yes.
And there is one survivor.
Yep.
This is like, and she becomes a major side character.
Oh, does she? Oh, that's awesome.
She gets her own book. So yes, that is my connection between that. I'm like, it's not a connection between the books, but just in terms of storytelling style.
Yeah, and an interesting parallel.
First book, and they get pulled into later books of the series. I'm like, And I think didn't something happen because I think Brenna's eyes were different.
Brenna's eye, they shattered. So instead of being like they're
and the same
brown,
thing
they're like a
happened
shattered blue.
and the same thing happened with Holly.
Ah, interesting.
And Holly, because I think they made a comment that Dimitri's watching Holly because they're not
Dimitri's
sure
watching her.
Yeah, they weren't sure
I
what was done
assumed-
to her and how she's changed. So
I had because when they said that, Dimitri's watching her, I'm like, I foresee a couple.
Ooh.
Yes, there will be a couple. So yes, that was my connection. That was the one thing I'm like, oh, totally didn't make that connection until last night.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it until you were like this thing. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
but
like reminders too.
It's a good
as
way
you
of
read.
introing. Okay. And also the other connection is that Brenna falls for Judd, who is a very minor character in the first book, and Holly falls for one of the 7 who is technically a minor character in the first book.
Nice.
So, who are part of the rescue.
I love Judd. Just saying.
He's still my favorite. He's still my favorite. Anyway.
I was like, wrong series, but
connections still abound.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because I don't say this as a negative. Nalini is a very she has a formula for how she writes her books, which I think is why they work, and which is why you can read one book one year and not reread them, and you can read the next book because the formula follows the same pattern. But yeah, just similar themes, slightly different execution.
I do think when you have series like this, you have to really have that and have it nailed in order to make so many books work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there's at this stage there's only one more book in Guild Hunters that'll be out next year, so that there's a clear finish line for the series. And I know we haven't switched a couple characters in the books yet, but I think I said this last time. I think it helps that we have a main couple, but we anchor the series, but you have other adventures that are off to the side that help expand out some of the things that are mentioned in previous books.
Now, book 3, do we switch couples or are we still with?
Book 3 is the last one with the main couple. That's why I stopped reading after book 3.
Yeah, next one's with them, but then we come back. So there's I've forgotten the order.
Yeah, I was like, I know we eventually come back.
4 or 5. I think there's 4 or 5 books, and then we come back to the main couple.
Yeah, I knew that we eventually came back, but I think that's why I stopped after 3 because it switched couple, and I was like, I can't deal with a couple switch, and so I just stopped reading.
Yeah,
makes sense. I often do that too.
Yeah. Actually, what is it? But it's like
I think my brain just couldn't, because it's not a new couple every book like Side Changeling, but it's also not the same couple for all the books like Magic Bites, and I was just like, no, we're done.
It just depends on how much I didn't want to leave that couple or was interested in another one.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, well, the first couple that we get after this is Dimitri.
Oh, okay.
Dimitri's story. But I'm pretty sure, and someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that either this book or the next Elena book after the 3rd book is you start to see Elena's relationship with her family and the repair that begins to happen as well.
Oh my god.
From what I remember, there is a reveal in book 3 that then I think probably helps begin that healing.
I didn't want to look and see who the different books were about because I didn't want to spoil myself. So
Oh, same. I just knew that the first 3 were the main couple. I didn't know anything after that.
No, so 3 is Elena. 4, I won't say the couples. 4 is Dimitri's book. Then there's another Archangel one. Then I think 6 we go back to Elena. Book 6 we go back to Elena for a little bit. So, and
Okay.
yeah, I think we might be every two books. Maybe we switch out.
And like Megan was saying, I have an easier time transitioning between couples if I know, okay, you have one more book with this couple and then you're going here. Like I need the heads up, honestly.
Well, I think the smart thing is that when we get other couples, it is just one book, and then their story continues to be told through the lens of Elena and Raphael's story. So it's not like you're getting a couple and then you're going to come back to that couple again later down the track. You get their story, and then it just fits into the greater world building stuff as well.
Yeah.
In like it kind of reminds me of, say, Gunmetal Magic in Ilona Andrews, which the story is important to the series, but it's kind of a side quest that continues the world stuff, but is, if you don't necessarily read it at exactly the same time.
Yeah. Because I didn't read it the first time I
didn't either.
read it, and it worked out okay. But it really is there on purpose, I guess, if you do read it.
Yeah. Like these ones, you couldn't read them on their own because they tie in too much to the world plot.
Right. It literally is the main series. It's not 3.5. It's book number 4.
Whereas the short stories in the short story collection, or the separate short stories that fit in, they're the ones that you can kind of pick up. They're not crucial to the overarching plot, which kind of, I don't know, I think having read the most recent one and reading these ones after it, my timeline's off. My timeline is so off.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I probably I really should do the character map and some of the major plot points, because that's what I did with Side Changing. It was the only way I could keep track of it in my head.
Yeah,
and I haven't kept up with the Side Changeling one either, and that's starting to cause a bit of problems. I can't remember where I got up to. People keep asking me to go back to and I will eventually go back to the Side Changing ones. That might be a next year thing, but
yeah,
I need to go back and figure out where I left.
We can just restart with the Psy World books, because I think that we had stopped with only like 2 Psy World books or something like that, because those were the only ones that were at the time. Yeah, the Psy Trinity. So we could always just restart at the beginning of Psy Trinity.
She could, but I'm the type of neurospicy that I have my own system and I have to have it in my format or I can't keep track of it. I've tried. I tried and use Eden Finley and Saxon James have one for their expanded Satanverse world, and I look at it and go, I need more information than this provides me. So
there's one of the Eden Finley, Saxon James. I don't know if they made the one I'm thinking of, or if like a fan made it, but it's like a it's not a Vimeo. It's like a Flex.
Yeah, I know which one. So it's the one that you can zoom in and out of.
Yeah. That's how I figured out what books I'm supposed to read when, because I'm trying to go in like some sort of timeline order. The last time I was reading their books,
I have read them, messy. And I look at that one and I go, that's not linear enough for me. But anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, that's fair enough. It depends on the books. Like I haven't gone back to reread. We must have stopped at book 3.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been book 3 or book 4. Book 4 I love. Book 4 is one of my favorite books in the
I think we stopped at book 3.
Yeah. Elf and Night's one of my favorite books out after Caressed by Ice and Kiss of Obsidian.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. So I think it was, because 3 was the marine one, right?
Yes. 2 was the ocean one. Anyway, we're not talking about Changeling.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, we stopped at the beginning of Trinity and it went further, and I stopped reading them.
Maybe Megan and I pick this back up next year.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted. Hello, welcome. Yes. All right. Anything we missed talking about? Chat, feel free to bring anything up, you guys. I'm trying to think. I do like that the rose came back up in this book. The rose that Raphael gave Elena. I don't think I missed anything. Not that I have my notes anymore.
I have no idea. I think we covered it all.
Well, in that case, so the next book is, I don't know, have it written down.
Oh, it's Archangel's Consort. I was just adding it.
Yeah.
A minute ago.
Yes. The Amberest token. I think we talked about it before. The gift giving in this was top notch.
Yes, it was great. Loved it.
And like we talked about before, I think they are a very evenly matched couple.
Yeah. Let me see if I wrote anything else down. It's definitely very typical of the 2010s paranormal and especially with the like gender essentialist language when it comes to the attraction between the main couple. It's like, oh, his very male gaze with his very male chuckle and his masculine.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't necessarily bother me. Like, I understand it, but it was just like, oh yes, this is what it used to be. This is an era in time of the paranormal.
Yep. Oh, the early 2000s.
Yeah. Who was I reading? There was another paranormal romance I was reading. That is a recent one that used it, but used it in a way that felt nostalgic for the books of this era. And I'm like, there are books that are trying to be contemporary that use it, which I don't think it works very well in most of the time. But I feel like if you're trying to sort of recall the nostalgia of these books, sometimes it does.
Well, and it's also like, I think that it's obviously very good, especially in more recent books, for authors to kind of include gender spectrum and all of that within their world building. But if you're talking about a specific couple and their specific attraction between the two individuals and their identities and how they feel about each other and all that, it's not the same thing as being like all women are into alpha men. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do. Alrighty. Well, we were supposed to have a chat. Well, I meant to have a chat about when the next live show was going to be. But we haven't done that yet, so stay tuned.
Eventually.
Are we thinking this year?
Well, I think I worked out I can probably do it in November, but it kind of depends on everyone else. I don't think there'll be one in December. I think that'll just be too
you're
hectic
thinking
for
November
everyone.
or nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could finish out the trilogy of the main characters this year.
Yeah. So we will confirm that, and hopefully in the next week, because then I can put the date in my November TBR video. So
when is American Thanksgiving? It's the end of November. American Thanksgiving is the 27th of November. So that weekend is probably out because that's a Thursday.
Okay.
So that's the last weekend basically in November we cannot do. Is my
maybe we'll chat about the weekend before.
Yeah. I was like, based on the fact that most of us are in America,
yeah.
I assume a lot of people will have some sort of plans. I know I will be out of town that weekend. So
yeah. That's okay. I will have a new nibbling in the first week of November. So we'll just work something out. So I suspect my weekends will be possibly a little bit scattered, but that's okay. So
if it works,
I mean, we have 2 months to figure it out. We have November and December. If a weekend works somewhere in there, that works.
We'll get it sorted. We always do. We always do. And I'm kind of keen to continue and at least wrap up the 3 books this year.
Agreed. Yeah, I'd like to get one more in this year if possible.
And then we can start with the spin-off side character romances in the new year.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Alrighty. So unless anyone has anything else they want to add, we might wrap up the conversation for tonight for you guys.
I'm excited for Heather to read book 3 based on what I remember of book 3.
Maybe it'll get a 5. You never know.
I'm just excited that book 2 was still a 4 for you, or just above.
Yeah, it was still. I think it probably helped that I didn't read them back to back. A good amount of time in between, just a couple months, but yeah, I still liked it.
Sounds good. Alrighty. So thanks to everyone in the chat. I'm glad we've got a couple of people that are joining us for the read along and are enjoying it.
Yes.
And awesome discussion. I think this book was really interesting. There's a lot of things to unpack in it. So
I love all y'all in chat helping me out, trying to remember things.
Well, all of us.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will hopefully see you in about a month's time. Bye.